And TV back in here to pick it through the bones of what happened yesterday on that pitch at Goodison. Everton 3, Tottenham 2. I guess we'll start off with the match review. What can we say anymore? What can we say?
Club.
It really is. It really is getting harder and harder to take as each week's progress. An Everton side who could barely get on the score sheet. Was it 1 goal in their last 10 games or something like that? Can't hit a barn door for love nor money. A player in Dominic Solanke, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who's so out of form. 16 games in a row, he doesn't score. And you just knew. We even said it in the preview leading up to this game. You just knew that this guy was going to score yesterday. And that's exactly what happened. Dr. Tottenham rearing its ugly head once again. I guess we'll start off with the lineup that Ange chose yesterday, because he did try something different. He went for a 3 at the back, Archie Gray on the right side of the defence, Ben Davies on the left with Radu through the middle. He went for more orthodox wing backs in Spence on the left and Pedro Porro on the right. As much as I was happy that he was trying something new, it just didn't work whatsoever. And I feel like whenever Ange does try and change up the formation, it just goes horribly wrong every single time.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out why he did it, because obviously the natural thing is just put Gray in midfield. Why? I don't know why he's so adverse to putting Gray in midfield. It's kind of a bit perplexing, to be honest. He's just got... I don't understand why he felt the need to, with the lineup that he had, to change formation. The only thing I can think of why he did it is obviously we had Brennan get pulled out before the game. I actually think, as much as Solanke got pulled out, I actually think in a weird way it might have been the Brennan one that made him change it, because, and this is what I'm trying to think, we know how Everton yes, they haven't scored, but as well they haven't conceded many, so they're not so easy to score against a lot of the time. They kept clean sheets at the Emirates, they kept clean sheet against who else? Against Chelsea, 0-0 against Chelsea. It was 1-1 at the Etihad. So this is a team who are not so easy to score against, and now without orthodox wingers on the right, he decided to kind of play this formation which could basically concentrate Decky, Son and Maddison a bit more in central areas. And to do that, he felt he maybe needed to get Porro and Spence a bit wider. And to make up for that, I think he felt to concentrate those 3 players in the forward positions, to concentrate them a bit central, he wanted to get a third centre-back in there because he was going to keep Porro and Spence a bit wider. So I think that was the logic. And I think, Decky was picking up good positions. Obviously, Son actually did have a few chances in that first half, but failed to convert any of them. But the reality of what transpired is I don't think anyone in the back line knew what they were doing, to be honest. I think Gray was asked to do this kind of hybrid role, like right back in possession or right centre-back. Sorry,
bobbing up the pitch as well.
He was asked to do multiple roles, and clearly he didn't know which position way too often to be in when we were out of possession. I think Dragshin and Davis were all over the shop. We were playing this high line and we weren't pressing anywhere near enough to force mistakes of Everton, which meant they had time on the ball and which meant they were just having time to play the balls over the top, and Calvert-Lewin was obviously running in behind it. He seemed to have a new lease of life all of a sudden in this game. I don't know what David Moyes said to him, but he clearly seemed a lot more on it in this game than I've seen him in previous games, but obviously we allowed that to happen. I think we were just absolute mess defensively all over the shop in that first half, and that's what led to what was an absolute car crash of a performance at the back in the first half. We were just conceding chances left, right and centre. We were all over the shop, and even when we had players back, you look at the first goal. That first goal, there's 4 players around Calvert-Lewin. 4 players, and no one is putting a challenge in. No one is blocking the shot. They're allowing him to dance through in the box and get that shot. I mean, it's an absolute disgrace how no one is having the aggression or even the wherewithal just to put a foot in that situation. Again, people... I'm not saying Ange isn't to blame, because look, he's admitted it after the game. He got it completely wrong that first half and he changed it and it completely backfired. But I'm sorry, there are 4 players around Calvert-Lewin. Someone put a challenge in. Someone put make it hard for him. Like, how are they allowing him in that position to get a shot off is absolutely balmy to me. Absolute disgrace. Not like we didn't have the players back. There are literally 4 players around him and no one is stopping him. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it just got worse from then on. Obviously, we did have chances at 1-0. Sonny had a couple of moments at 1-0 and we could have had a penalty as well. I mean, Sonny's his finishing in the last few weeks has just been dreadful. He can't seem to put it in the back of the net over the last few weeks. He's been getting some chances, but I don't know what it is with him. But at the moment, he can't seem to be picking his spot.
It's the same with him as it is for the whole team right now. Completely devoid of confidence. They're completely devoid of energy. You know, Sonny gets in those opportunities. You know, 6 months ago, for the past 5, 6, 7, 10 years, pretty much, he would have finished that 10 times out of 10. You know, that was a real the second chance that he got, you know, where he's pretty much in the centre of the goal. He's got the whole goal to aim at pretty much, and he pretty much just fires it straight at Pickford, you know. That's a chance that Sonny gobbles up 10 times out of 10 if he's got confidence. And that's what we're seeing from the team at the moment. They're all of them, pretty much all of them, apart from the players that haven't been overplayed, like a Jed Spence, like a Lucas Bergvall. They're the only ones that look like they had any sort of energy on the pitch yesterday. And they're the ones that haven't been overplayed. It was madness to me, and I was saying this all week. It was absolutely madness that we played Pedro Porro yesterday. He looked like a gaping hole on that right-hand side, like we always see. But it makes no sense when you've got a game on Thursday, when you know Pedro Porro has to play, to not play Reguilon in this game. And I'm not even saying that Reguilon playing this game would have made all the difference and we would have got the win. But what it does do, it takes Porro out the firing line a little bit and gives him a bit more energy to play in the game on Thursday night, which we know he has to play.
I think, yeah, mate, yes, that's true. But I also think just the problem was the setup. I don't even think in theory the setup was the problem. I just think the way it transpired. I don't know whether I don't know how much they trained on it or what the situation was. But he went with this setup and it just completely. I think the players didn't know their jobs really on the pitch. I think defensively, no one knew who was picking up who. I think the attacking players as well. I think the pressing structure, no one really knew which players to press to. I think it was just a complete mishmash, and it led to not being able to press them properly off the ball, which led to defensively when they were coming forward, it was just a complete absolute mess. And there's no other way of putting it. It was a complete car crash against an Everton side, as you say, really struggled. Obviously, they clearly have a bit of new energy with David Moyes in there. I think that did contribute, but you know, there's no excuse for being so open against a side who should really be struggling for confidence in front of goal, and they didn't seem that way yesterday. They looked like they were more confident than ever. I think they probably scored more goals in that game than they have in their last 10 games.
But all you need for a bit of confidence, all you need for a bit of confidence is come and face this Tottenham side. We've seen it all season. Ipswich haven't won a game all season. Come play Tottenham. Give them a confidence boost. Crystal Palace haven't won a game all season. Come play Tottenham. We'll give you a confidence boost. And now this Everton side have scored 1 goal in 10. You need a confidence boost? Don't worry, we'll give you 3 goals in the first half with absolutely horrific defending. And that second one as well, like, was it Pape Sarr with the poor pass that just let the player get Ilman and Dye. Ilman and Dye, by the way, looks like a really good player. I was saying it in the preview, and he took Dragusin to the cleaners. He took Dragusin. Why is he not stepping out and making a challenge or something? Like, one step over and Dragusin's completely out of the game.
I think if you watch the goal back, I think Gray again is culpable. He just lets Ndiaye run off him. He should be getting goal side. He should be a lot stronger. He should be getting close to him to make sure that he's not running into space. And as soon as Ndiaye's away from him, he's away. And then you look at the defending. He's one-on-one with well, not one-on-one because he's also got Davis there. But Dragusin is just allowing him into the space. What Dragusin should be doing is showing him inside so Davis can then come and mop up, but he doesn't. He just basically shows him on the outside, allows him to attack the space, and obviously it's a really good finish, but it's horrific defending again all round. Again, I think the lack of maybe a number 6 on that occasion also probably cost us quite heavily, because Ndiaye had all that space to run into. But again, Gray got absolutely turned inside out for the first goal, and I think he allows Ndiaye to run off him for the second goal. I'm not hammering him or saying he's the big problem or anything like that. I think Gray's absolutely been phenomenal in this, even though we've been absolutely shite in this last 10 games. He's been brilliant the way he stepped in. But yesterday was probably a game too far, because I thought he had a bit of a mare, and I thought the first 2 goals didn't have a good role to play in them, to be honest.
It's only so long, right, that that, Archie Gray, like you say, he's been brilliant, right? But he's an 18-year-old midfielder playing in defence, and he's been playing in a system which, he's pretty much been on the training pitch training with this system. They try a completely new system, playing him at a right centre-back. He didn't know where to go, whether it be at right back. He didn't know where to be at centre-back. He was pushing up the field into midfield and bombing on it at times as well. I mean, he was all over the place yesterday. And obviously in the third goal, he scores the own goal as well.
Yeah, which was another mess. Absolute mess.
Yeah, all 3 goals that we conceded yesterday were embarrassing. Nothing short of embarrassing. And the game was done. The game was done at half-time. I had no inkling that Spurs were going to, make a comeback or make any sort of fist of it. He makes that change at half-time. Richarlison comes on for Dragusin, and he goes back to the more orthodox system. And until we made the Mikey Moore change on 72 minutes, I thought there was just nothing in that game. We didn't have any chances. Everton really didn't have any chances. They were playing like they'd won the game already, and
they had won the game.
Yeah, they had won the game, and we couldn't hurt them. We had nothing. We had no energy to go and attack them and actually create any chances. And it took for a 17-year-old kid, Mikey Moore, on the 73rd minute to go and cause Everton any sort of problems. And that cross, by the way, from Mikey Moore,
beautiful,
for Richarlison's goal was something out of the top drawer. And I was calling for changes literally every 5 minutes. For Mikey Moore to come on. Why did it take for so long for him to bring on someone like Mikey Moore to add a bit of energy, a bit of impetus in the game yesterday?
I don't know. Obviously, we know he's been missing a lot of football, so he wants to be careful with him. But when did he first come back, Mikey Moore? Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I can't remember what game he first came back in. He obviously started against Tamworth, got an hour.
He was on the bench for Villa. He was on the bench for Liverpool.
Liverpool in the Cup,
then started the Tamworth game on the bench against Arsenal, and then came on yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously waited till 20 minutes to go. Maybe he didn't, I don't know why it took him so long, but obviously he did make a good impact when he did come on, but he could have come on maybe about 10 minutes earlier. That's probably what you would say. Apart from that, obviously, it's just we're losing players left, right and centre. We lost Basuma and Johnson and again this week. We've lost Solanke the day before the game in training, him taking a shot. Every week we're just losing more and more players, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But he could have brought on Mikey Moore early. Maybe that would have made a bit more of a difference. Obviously, we did get 2 goals back when Moore came on, and he was a shining light, 100%. He was absolutely brilliant when he came on, and he was the only one asking different questions of this Everton back line, taking people on, earning corners, just committing players, and had quality. He had quality there when I think he was one who pulled that cross back for Richarlison, who had a chance. I think it was him as well, which Richarlison should have done more with. He should have buried that chance. So he was creating opportunities, and it shouldn't need, as you say, a kid to really start asking questions of the Everton backline. The senior players should be the ones stepping up, but that's what it means at the moment. It just seems it's the young players who are the ones really trying to get us through this period. The senior players look just done at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got players like Will Lancashire, Jan Min-hyuk, Sergio Reguilon. I mean, there's so many tired players on the pitch that just can't give what they usually give or what they want to give. So I just don't understand why, we don't make changes earlier in the game just to give us a bit more energy. Even if it's not like so much quality that we can go and win the game, at least it will give us a bit more energy, and it will give us something extra in the game, because we're just so out on our feet at the moment. And Kulusevski, God bless Kulusevski, because you can clearly see how tired, he is, but he is just giving his all for this team right now, Becky. If anything was going to happen, it was going to come through him in the first half. Unbelievable finish to claw it back to 3-1 as well. What a finish that was. Yeah,
and I thought he actually had a really good game overall, and he created that chance for Son in the first half.
Recalled Dane?
We have. Yeah, I do. Apparently, the plan is to send him out on loan again. Look, maybe we'll talk about that later. But yeah, he's been recalled. Obviously, off the back of Solanke's injury. I wonder if people put 2 and 2 together there. But yeah, Decky, I thought he was the only one in terms of our senior players who was really making things happen yesterday. And I thought he actually had a really pretty good game overall. And I thought he was the one consistently causing problems for Everton. And obviously he did score a really nice goal. And he, again, as he has been a lot of this season, a bit of a shining light. Obviously, I think he was much better in this game than he has been in the previous performances. But it just wasn't enough. We need more from everyone else. We need more. It can't just be Decky all the time. And that's also been a big problem.
What do we do now because Richarlison felt something. He went down, didn't he, after he scored the goal? After we got it.
Well, he had gotten a big knock from Pickford.
What happens now if he's out injured?
I don't know. Dane Scarlett. Lancashire.
Like,
Going to have to be Lancashire.
I don't know. It's just getting beyond the joke what is happening with the injuries right now. We literally have no more players. We've literally got no more players. And how do we manoeuvre this situation, right? Because we're 8 points from the drop. We've got Leicester coming up next, which is a massive game now. It really is a massive game. Leicester at home. We've got Thursday night football where we can't even play Jed Spence and we can't even play players like Sergio Reguilon. The more these players play, the more tired they get, which is an obvious. And the week by week, our squad is just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So we're going to have to put in a big energy on Thursday nights. Where's that going to leave us for the game against Leicester? On a normal day, you'd say, yeah, Leicester at home, we should beat them. But I'm not so sure that we're going to beat them now with how tired we are.
There's no
week by week, we're getting more tired.
There is no game you can take for granted right now in the situation we're in. Absolutely no game. You have to earn your victories. There's going to be absolutely no game where you're just handed to win on the play. They're going to be as well. They're 7 defeats in a row, but they are desperate for points, and they're going to be absolutely put everything. They'll also see it as a chance. They'll probably be smelling blood as much as they're in a terrible way. Probably one of the only teams who are in worse form than us. They're going to be smelling blood as well because they know the situation we're in. They know that if they take the lead, the ground might turn toxic and all these different things. They'll see an Everton team who are struggling to score and they got 3 goals. So I think they'll see this as an opportunity to really try and get their season back on track. So there's no game at the moment right in front of us that is going to be an easy 3 points or anything. That's just going to be a game where you take for granted because as you say, every single game we are losing more and more players. The situation doesn't seem to be getting worse. So it doesn't seem to be getting better. It seems to be getting worse week by week. Ange, at the moment, doesn't seem to know how to manoeuvre us out of this situation. I think he's trying to keep some semblance of the way we play with the squad that we have, but I just don't think at the moment it's possible. We're just losing every week with the way that we're playing and the situation that it is. And then we're trying to basically wait it out until we get our players back, but the reality is the players aren't coming back in quick enough, and we're losing more players along the way, and the situation is it's getting deeper and deeper and deeper. It's hard to see where this changes at the moment. As I've always said, I don't see it changing until the situation changes. Well, the situation's getting worse. That is the problem. That is the big problem. And I've always said, once we come out the other side, the results and form will probably start to turn, but I'm struggling to see how he gets there at this point because, as I said before this game, the next 7 games are massive. The next 7 games are absolutely massive in terms of the season. Now, we've just lost to Lanky. He's probably going to miss the next 7 games. Johnson's going to miss the next 7 games now. I don't know what the state of Basuma. Hopefully he's not too serious. Romero and Van der Ven are only going to be here, they're saying, probably the 27th of Jan, and that's the next 2 games. And if they come back on then, people are going to accuse them of rushing them back. Do we need to kind of ease them back in, or can we put them straight back in without risking them of getting re-injured as well? It's an absolutely horrendous nightmare scenario that we're in, and it's really difficult to see how this all pans out in a positive way right now, to be honest, because of the situation that we are in at the moment. It's really, really difficult to see how in 7 games our season isn't over, to be honest. Because we're just losing more and more players, and on top of that, we've done F4 in the transfer market. I know we got a keeper in, but clearly, as I know, Kinski, made some good saves yesterday. But again, he played really well. But don't get me wrong, I'm not criticising him. But you could also see he's going to have to. He still needs time with this backline to create some sort of cohesion. A lot of the time as well, he's nearly getting caught on the ball. He's making mistakes. Sometimes that's going to happen when you're a risk-taking goalkeeper like he is.
He's a young
keeper, and as well, you're in a new team, a different level of football than he's used to. I know he had a brilliant debut against Liverpool. Don't get me wrong, but there's a new defenders he's got trying to create a relationship with, and he's still getting into the style of play. There's going to be mistakes early on. It's not going to be plain sailing. So, he's not also that experienced. So he's still kind of growing as a goalkeeper himself. And don't get me wrong, happily he's here, but he's still going to have to go through that period where he makes mistakes. And we've got absolutely no help from this board this window. We're now 20th of January. We are I don't think we've ever needed signings more than we do right now. We are in DEFCON 5. This is time to panic. This is. I usually say I don't want to see panic buys. We need bloody panic buys. Panic, panic, panic. Get players in. We need help right now. And we are absolutely toiling away. This is not the time to be methodical and kind of, we need to get players in right now. Otherwise, we are hurtling down this table, and there's a real fear that we will be seriously dragged into that battle right down at the bottom if we don't get this manager some help. Now, the word again from the board and from what Ali Gold is saying right now is they are intent on helping Ange Postecoglou and not removing him from his position. That's all well and good, but help him. Bloody help him, because he's getting no help at the moment. He's getting absolutely zero. He's being hung out to dry. And either they're just putting lip service to give everyone a boogeyman to shout out while we're losing games, right? Or they're just being negligent in the way they're dealing with the transfer window, because we need players right now. Get them through the door. We are toiling away. But it's all well and good waiting until the end of the window to get the best deals, but the season could be over by the end of the window. We need players today. We need players 2 weeks ago. That's when we need players. But the frustrating thing is, this isn't a situation that's like only appeared at the 1st of Jan. This is the situation that we knew about at the beginning of December. They've had time to plan about what we need. We knew what players were going to be out pretty much until the end of January, early February. We knew the situation. Odegaard, Van der Ven, Romero, all these players we knew were not going to be returning until the end of this month. So we need players in right now. We've known that situation, and it's a disgrace that we're here on the 20th of January and there's just no sign of players through the door. It's an absolute disgrace.
Yep. And yeah, look, this board and we keep hearing from Ali Gold, they want to back this manager. They're backing this manager. They're not pushing any red buttons anytime soon. So back him. If you're going to back him, then back him. Back him means bring players in and help him through this situation. I've made it clear on what I think about Ange Postecoglou and whether I think he's doing a good job or not. Clearly, he's not doing a good job, because we're 8 points above the relegation zone right now. But if we don't bring players in for him, there is no chance that we don't fall further and further close to this relegation fight. We got Leicester on the weekend. If we lose to Leicester, I dread to think what the next few weeks after that look like. Because if we lose to Leicester, there is a genuine chance, we could just be sitting 5 points above the relegation zone after that. I don't know who Ipswich have. I think we're lucky that they've got a few hard games. They play Liverpool away this next weekend. But the weekend after, Ipswich play Southampton at home. They play Southampton at home. That's a winnable game for them. So if we lose our next 2 games and Ipswich get 3 points against Southampton, we are literally 5 points above the relegation zone. 5 points at this stage of a season. And anything can happen there. In a couple of weeks' time, I think in a month's time, we've got to go to Ipswich. Have you got any hope, any positivity about you to think we can go to Ipswich and win right now?
We can't any games, as I said.
You know what I mean?
There's no guaranteed for us in any game right now.
Even if Ipswich lose every game after that Southampton game up till we play them, and then we got to go to Ipswich.
When is it?
It's in like a month's time.
Well, hopefully by the end of February you're talking about.
When's the Spurs Ipswich game? Spurs Ipswich, mid-February.
I mean, hoping we'll have some players back by then.
Hoping.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. We're living on a prayer right now.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is right. What if we go to Ipswich, right, 5 points above them, and they're still in the relegation zone? A loss there, and we're 2 points above the relegation zone. 2 points, and this isn't even far-fetched what I'm talking about. It could be a real reality.
Absolutely, because we're losing. We could have less players by that point. Who knows? We're literally losing players constantly, and I don't think Ange is helping the situation in terms. I don't think it's his fault, but I don't think he's helping the situation because this is the way he's implemented the style of play and the situation we're in. It's not helping the players. We are absolutely running on empty. We're blowing cold at the moment. We are being run into the ground with the way. Look, I know he changed the way, and we're playing a bit. And also, the last few weeks, we clearly have been a bit more. I don't know whether it's by design, but we clearly have been sitting back a bit more and haven't been completely just leather high press consistent throughout every game. But at the moment, he doesn't know how to deal with this situation.
The reality
he doesn't know how to deal with this situation.
Postecoglou right now is absolutely clueless. He was watching on the game from the sidelines yesterday, and he looked like he didn't have a Scooby of how to turn that game around, or even how to manoeuvre ourselves through the game. He waited until 73 minutes in that second half when we looked like we had no hope in hell, no energy or nothing to go and attack Everton. He waited till 73 minutes, and yeah, we salvaged something at the end and scored 2 goals, but no way in any stretch of the imagination did anyone have any belief that we could, fully turn the game around. I mean, the guy is absolutely clueless right now. And
he doesn't know how to deal with it. I don't think he expected to be in this situation, of course. He's not a manager for a relegation fight. That's for damn sure. I think he's a manager for what we wanted him to be, which was, try and get us back being competitive in the top end of the table and the way he plays football. But with this situation, this isn't the guy you want, I don't think, in the situation that we're in. Now, the problem is, if we get rid of him and we bring in we either bring first of all, I don't think an interim massively helps, but we bring in, I don't know who we're going to bring in at this point, but you're looking at probably if you could bring in a firefighter for the short term, and then come the next season, you could go in a new direction. Tottenham are very much stuck right now in terms of the direction we go, because you're trying to build something, and we've now been thrust into this situation that we're in, which is an absolute dire situation. I do still believe if players come back. No, I'm not saying, again, I'm being consistent. I'm not saying we're going to go on a 10-game winning run if players come back, but I think we'll definitely win enough games to we'll only be thinking of relegation if that was to happen. But the problem is the players aren't coming back soon enough, and we're losing more players. So if that continues to be the situation, right, I don't know how we change it unless we change the manager from that point of view. Now, if there is genuine belief that we've made change in the medical team and all these different things and conditioning, and we do believe that players will come back and we're going to just ride through this storm, and we are going to sign some players, and I can see the situation changing. But right now, we've just gone through another week where we've lost to a team who are who were battling relegation. They've scored 3 goals when they hadn't scored. They had only scored, I think, 1 in their last 10. Oh, sorry, they scored like 4 in their last 10, and 3 of them were own goals, something stupid like that. We're losing more and more players by the week. There are no signs of new signings through the door, and so I can't see any situation where that turns out positive with the right now, because I don't think Ange has the tools capable within him to see us through this situation while it continues to worsen. He clearly doesn't seem to do so. But I don't think we'll be better off in the short term in terms of if this situation doesn't get better, we are probably better off getting someone who can just manoeuvre out of the situation than go in a new direction. But then I don't think that's good for the long term of this club, in all honesty. I don't see that being a massive positive. I just think we'll get a short upturn. This manager might get us out of the situation, then we're back to square one.
Now we're literally in dire straits. There's no. We can't be thinking about long-term projects right now when we're literally dropping deeper and deeper into a relegation battle. We're Tottenham Hotspur, right? 5 years ago, we were in a Champions League final. We were talking about being in a relegation battle. We moved into this shiny new stadium, 5-6 years ago? And we're in a relegation battle. This is an absolute joke. This board have blood on their hands right now. Ange Postecoglou has no clue how to manoeuvre this situation and get us out the trouble that we're in. We're losing player by player. And yes, I agree with you with what you're saying about the medical staff and all that, and they've got a massive part to play. But Ange Postecoglou as well has got a massive part to play while we're in this mess and while we're in this situation. like I keep saying, keeps overplaying players, and right now he's got no choice for the next couple of weeks to overplay players. Kulusevski is going to have to play every single game. He's going to have to play Thursday night. He's going to have to play against Leicester. But there was no reason why Pedro Porro couldn't have been out the firing line yesterday and just to give us a bit of an energy boost. Why is he not giving the team a bit of a respite with a bit of an energy boost? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. But in terms of why we're in this injury mess, yes, the medical team, we've all known about the medical team for a long time. We all know about Daniel Levy and how he gives every manager to manage his team with two hands tied behind their back. But the Van de Ven injury, completely on Ange Postecoglou. Many other injuries this season are completely on Ange Postecoglou. And I think every single person, when you talk about the medical team, Daniel Levy and Ange have got a big part to play of why we're in here. And I just can't see the situation getting better with this guy as our manager. And we're falling deeper and deeper and deeper down in this season. And I just feel like we need something just to give us a boost from now until the end of the season and then just reassess everything in the summer. That's what I feel like where we're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that because you're worried about dropping near down to relegation. The reality is we're still 8 points away from that. So, and it's not like the teams below us are winning exactly consistently. Frankly, I don't think we are going to get relegated. I don't think we're going to seriously be dragged into it. I think by the time near the end of the season comes around, we'll be well clear of that situation. But right now, there's absolute real fears that we could really be dragged into. And I'm not saying you're absolutely wrong for being worried about it. I just personally believe we're not going to be relegated and we're not going to be seriously in an absolute dogfight. That's my belief.
That if we lose to Leicester this weekend?
This is my belief. This is my belief.
You still feel like that if we lose to Leicester this weekend?
Yeah. I'll still feel like that. Even if we lose to Leicester this weekend, I'll still feel like that. Because again, we're probably going to be in the same situation in the Leicester game as it's been for the last 2 months. And we need that situation to change. Now, as I've said, if you're looking at the longer term, you're looking to continue with what we're trying to build, you might be better off trying to ride it out. But are we able to ride it out right now? Is it going to keep getting worse? That's what the Spurs have to juggle with right now. I'm not obviously internally. I don't know how they're really believing. If they really believe all these injuries are on Ange and it's completely his fault, then why have they sacked the medical staff from bringing new medical people?
Said it's completely his fault.
I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying if the club believe that, right, then I think they would have made a change. They would have considered that. And I don't think they would have completely changed the medical team if they didn't believe they had a big part to play in the situation that they're in. So I think the club have taken a decision in that point to get in more new conditioning people and new medical people because they believe. When I'm not saying injuries are inevitable the way we play, but I definitely believe the fact that a lot of these players are being re-injured is 100. I think a big, I would say 90% is that's on the medical team of why these players are coming back and getting re-injured again. That's 100. That's got to be on the medical team 100% because they have to be, and the conditioning team because they have to be managing and dealing with that situation. But
everyone has got a part to play. It's not just the medical team, but Ange has got to be in it as well. And he seems absolutely clueless right now. He really does. He changes a whole system. People are saying, where's your plan B? Where's this? Where's that? Whenever he reverts to anything apart from what he knows as the norm, we're terrible. And we're terrible when we're at his norm as well right now. So, I mean, I don't know how we can move forward in this situation. I really just don't know. Because
we need signings. If we're not going to get injured players, that's the only way we can. That's the only thing that can change right now because the injuries don't seem to be letting up. So the only way is to sign players, and we're not doing that. So if we're not going to do that, the situation won't change, and you might as well change.
One signing ain't going to change. We need like a bloody 4 or 5 signings.
I said signings plural. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Plural.
We need like 4 or 5 signings. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. And, it's all well and good, saying, oh, the club decided this and they realised the medical team were the issue.
I never said they realised. They've said they've taken the decision to hold the medical team accountable. That's what they've decided.
Yeah, but, I mean, when have they, in the last, 5 or 6 years, when have they ever made the right call and the right decisions? It's clear to see that the players are so knackered, right, and they can't play the system that Ange Postecoglou wants them to play because of how tired they are. because of they keep getting overplayed. Players are dropping like flies, and they still won't give Ange Postecoglou signings. Like you said before, we're sitting here the 20th of January. If we come to the end of this transfer window and let's say we've only brought in one player or we've brought in no players, this board have got they've got serious questions to answer right now. But I mean, that surely there can't be anyone left. There can't be anyone left that back this board. There can't be. I can't see anyone looking at the situation right now and can accept no signings in this transfer window.
It's ridiculous. If you need to overpay, you have to overpay. Otherwise, you're literally risking being dragged into relegation fight with the way things are going. So if that's not worth the money to you, I don't know what is. You know what I mean? You have to... I understand you don't want to be taken for a ride. I understand you don't want to be... understand clubs like Ange said are going to try and take advantage of you because of the situation you're in. But quite frankly, that doesn't matter right now.
We're getting taken for a ride week in, week out by every team we play against.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter right now. We need help on the pitch. We absolutely need all the help we can get, and we're not getting anything. As I've consistently said, and I still believe it, I do think that I don't believe that Ange Ball is terrible and that it can't work and all these different things. But in the situation we are now, it's definitely not helping the situation. It's probably exacerbating the situation, and he needs. It's all well and good sticking to your principles and all that kind of stuff, but you can't stick to it go to relegation. You can't stick to it in the sense where it becomes such an absolute dire scenario where you're literally fighting for your lives. And as I've said, we're 8 points clear. I know we're 15th, and I know the situation is getting worse. I don't think we're quite there yet, but it's getting close to it. It is getting way too close for comfort, and we shouldn't be sitting here thinking if we lose to Leicester, all of a sudden it's 5 points and all these different things. That should never be the situation. So it's absolute, the whole situation, an absolute shit show. It's diabolical, and right now there's very little light at the end of the tunnel right now.
Yeah, and that's the reality. And the club need to act, and they need to act really fast, whatever they're going to do. We need to bring in signings first and foremost. A decision with the manager looks like they've already made the decision with the manager. It's like they're going to stick with him. But if they are going to stick with him, they need to give him at minimum 4 signings before the end of the window. That's exactly what we need. And if it's 1 or 2, it's not good enough. It really isn't good enough. And it's actually ridiculous that we're sitting here 20th of January and we've only made Kinski in the first week of the window. And there's not even any talk of anything or nothing right now. And I know, Johan Lang likes to work in darkness and maybe something will pop out of nowhere. But can you really see us signing more than 1 player from now to the end of the window? Because I can't.
Not how we operate. We're losing game after game here. Give him some help. I'm just sick of... I keep saying I don't even think it's the wrong decision to stick with him if you believe you can ride this out and you'll be better off for it. But the problem is, are we going to ride it out with the way we're operating? That is the problem. It keeps getting worse. So the situation is all well and good saying when we get to the other side, are we going to get there? Are we going to get to that other side? Right, when is that coming? Because at the moment we're losing player after player. I'm losing faith whether we are going to get to that other side, if that's ever going to change. And if that's not going to change, then you seriously need to be way more proactive in this window, because I'm just losing any sort of goodwill with anything right now.
Yeah, well, welcome to half on my side. Welcome. But it's an absolutely shit show what is going on at our beloved football club right now, and I don't know which way to turn, and something needs to change, and it needs to change fast. Otherwise this is going to be the probably worst season that we've ever had to endure as Spurs fans, and something that we've never thought we'd have to talk about. But that is your match review. Everton 3, Tottenham 2.